I came all the way to the West Coast for InNOut Burger. I almost got us kicked out, but I explored the secret menu and I have a story to tell, and that's starting right now. So I've been hyping up a visit to the West Coast, specifically Anaheim and San Diego, in my own head for a while, and one of the things that I really wanted to do on this trip, in addition to spend some quality time with the family, was go to InNOut Burger. I went there one time before in 2017, and it was a little overwhelming at the time. Now let me explain. When I say it was overwhelming, the menu couldn't be any simpler. It's pretty much hamburger, cheeseburger, french fries, and then there's some beverages. I think there's more beverage options on the menu than there are burger options. But most of the allure of InNOut Burger is the fact that they have a secret menu. And I'm sure you've heard about it. You've probably heard terms like double, animal style, 3x3, Neapolitan Milkshake. There's all different types of things. So for this visit, what I wanted to do was commit to trying one of every single type of secret menu item. And as far as this visit, we found a location that actually was not very busy at all. The location we landed on was a place called Oceanside, California, and it was right off the highway. We were going south on Highway 5, headed from Anaheim to San Diego. And like I said, it was not busy at all. But the funny thing is, when we got inside, I started doing my filming shtick, and as I was panning around the restaurant, I felt the tap on the shoulder. One of the workers had come over and actually told me that they have a policy against filming inside, which is going to make this review a little difficult, but I think I got enough to make this interesting. And we're going to talk about all the secret menu item stuff that I got anyway. There's not a terrible need for footage, but I was able to sneak outside and get all the footage I need so that you guys can see what I was dealing with. In addition to what I ordered, which I'll get to in just a moment, I had to get one of these, hats. So let's do it the right way here, and we will act like we're doing our thing, and then we'll hit it. The very first thing we can get out of the way is the shake. InNOut has chocolate, vanilla, strawberry shakes that you can get. One of the things on the secret menu is you can get a mixture of any of those three, or all three, which they call the Neapolitan shake. And for those, what they do is they layer one on top of the other. So if you get a Neapolitan, they'll do like strawberry, vanilla, chocolate. I don't know the exact order, but I'm sure it's some permutation of that. It'll either be strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, you know the permutations. It's like that 6th grade math that we learned and nobody remembers. Or you can get like a black and white, which is chocolate and vanilla. So that's what I opted for. And as far as this goes, there's not a whole lot to say except that you're basically drinking 1/2 of 2 milkshakes. So as you drink through one flavor, as long as you didn't mix it up, which I tried my best not to, you will get first vanilla, then chocolate, which is I think the order that mine was in. I'm pretty sure. It's kind of hard to tell because sometimes at these fast food places, chocolate is just like vanilla with a little bit of extra flavoring mixed in. So essentially, if you were to mix it up, you would get like a diluted chocolate shake. But I really do like the shakes at InNOut, and I love the fact that they're sized pretty appropriately, I think 16 ounces. This way you don't get carried away, and then you get to go a little crazy with the other stuff. Now for the fries, all over the internet and including in my community posts here, people talk up and down about how their fries are pretty terrible. I would tend to agree, even though I've only been there one time prior to this visit. But for me, the appeal of going to InNOut is the fact that you can get your fries animal style, which means they come with melted cheese on top and also caramelized onions on top of that, and then some of their spread, which is like kind of like a Thousand Island dressing, but I think a little bit heavier on the mustard, because as I ate through this, all I was tasting was mustard. And I'll get back to that in just a moment. We talk a little bit more about the burgers. But the animal style fries is one of those things where it's down in front of you and you're looking at it and it's a pile of stuff on top of fries and you don't know what to do, whether to dig in there with your fingers. And then if you're like me, you get up, you walk around the restaurant, you look for a fork, you feel bad, you don't want to engage the staff again, so you don't ask for a fork and you didn't see any around and you just dig in and get your fingers all dirty. I would have loved to have the footage from that, but I don't. So rest assured that I was making a mess while I was eating this entire thing, which for all intents and purposes is what you're supposed to do because it's animal style. You need to dig in there like you're an animal. But I will say, as far as the quality of the fries, I do agree that they're not the best fries out there in terms of the final product, but it is really cool to see. It's kind of right on display in the front as they're making your order. They're cutting the potatoes to order. You could see them being double fried. So they're trying very hard. They just don't come out great in the end. And I think that probably lends itself to the fact that this is probably a more natural fast food product than something like McDonald's or Burger King, which if you look at the ingredients on the French fries, has all different types of preservatives and benzoates and all this other types of stuff that shouldn't be in fries, let's put it that way, but help help to make them a little bit more of a addictive isn't the right word, but let's just say a pleasing experience to keep you coming back for more. I guess addictive is the right word. But this here, you could see that they cut them using an apparatus, they throw them into a deep fryer, they throw them into another deep fryer, they come out, they salt them, and they put them on the tray. So they're trying hard to make something with minimal ingredients. I think that deserves a little credit. As far as the secret menu though, there's a lot of things in addition to what I did on this day that you can do. I think there's also something called like monkey fries, where you can order a chopped up hamburger that you put on top of animal style fries. People have just gotten carried away with the secret menu type things, and it makes the restaurants kind of lean into it. Even last year in 2022, McDonald's launched a line of they called it menu hacks, where basically they were just putting things together like chicken sandwiches and burgers and selling it to you as one product. This way they can kind of benefit off of that. And that actually brings me to my next point about InNOut, where even on their website menu, they're talking about their secret menu. And I'm going to take it right to the notes and we'll read this right off their website. This way you could see what I'm talking about. At the top of their webpage, they actually have a section that says not so secret menu, urban myth, or just plain excellent customer service. By the way, before I get started here, we're going to talk about customer service because okay, maybe you heard the rumors, wondered what was on it, maybe even felt a little left out of the loop. But in reality, we don't have any secrets at all. It's just the way some of our customers like their burgers, and we're all about making our customers happy. So here are some of the most popular items on our not so secret menu. And they have on there double meat, 3x3, 4x4, grilled cheese, protein style, and animal style. Now, as far as animal style, here's what they say it is. Burger of your choice with hand-leafed lettuce, tomato, a mustard cooked patty, add pickle, extra spread, and grilled onions. That's what I got on my first visit. I got a double animal style. Double refers to the fact that you get 2 meat patties and 2 slices of cheese. And animal style refers to the fact that in addition to the lettuce and tomato that normally comes on the burger, you get extra spread, which is like, let's say Big Mac sauce or like Thousand Island dressing, but a little heavier on the mustard. You get grilled onions, which are like caramelized onion. And you also get the second side of your patty grilled with some mustard, which let me tell you, that's kind of a thing. Even if you adopt that at home when you're cooking your burgers, it's kind of a good trick. But on this visit, I had to go a little bit crazier. So I did the 3x3, 3 patties, 3 slices of cheese. And my absolute favorite thing about this is when it comes out to you, the way it's wrapped in the paper, you can actually see all the toppings coming out of the burger. And they don't actually position it in a way that if you were to pick it up, all of it would fall out all over the place, which I think is actually cool. And I think a lot more places should consider presenting burgers in this way. It not only showcases the presentation, but it also makes it easier to eat. But like the other things that you can get, like the 4x4, which is 4 patties, that was a little bit overboard. I think that's a little bit too much meat even for me. The 3x3 was just enough. But you can also do the protein style. Instead of a bun, they wrap it in lettuce for you, which is kind of another cool thing about InNOut. It's kind of cool to go in there and kind of experiment and see what you can get. Let's get on to what I thought about the burger. And by the way, if you're enjoying this, be sure to hit it with a like and subscribe if you like food. Maybe on our next trip to the West Coast, I'll be able to try something even crazier from the secret menu. Or maybe I'll make up my own thing. So the cool thing about the 3x3 was it was a lot of meat, but not too much meat for me. I actually really like thicker burgers. I think they do patties that are a little bit less than a quarter of a pound each. By the time you get the 3x3, it's no more than 0.6 or maybe 2/3 of a pound of meat on there. When I picked it up, it didn't feel terribly heavy to me. I don't want you guys to think that I'm a complete glutton here. And it's a fast food burger that I can't get all the time, so it's not like I wasn't trying to get it in on one visit. This was the visit, so I had to get it all out of my system on this visit. But that 3x3 was actually less than $7, which I think is actually pretty reasonable. I went to Burger King a couple of months ago and they have these stacker burgers. By the time you get to 2, you're already at an $8 burger. And I would say that those patties are probably similar size to what InNOut is selling. So that's a very reasonable price. In fact, for the 3 of us, we spent just a little over $30, which for 3 people to eat, including all the craziness that we did, and each of us got shakes, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. But I'm digressing away from the quality of the food. The one thing about getting a 3x3 in this style, now if you're not a fan of mustard, you're probably going to be put off by this because I think their spread or their Thousand Island, whatever you want to call, they call it spread. We're going to call it spread. I think that is pretty well seasoned with mustard. So by the time you end up eating through a lot of it, it's a lot of mustard. On 3 of the patties, it was honestly, I would say probably too much mustard. But that's not at all to say bad. There's plenty of sweetness in that spread, and you got your cheese in there, and then your lettuce and tomato, and they give you a nice big crunchy piece of lettuce to eat through. I think this is a pretty great burger experience. If I had this in my area, and I'm sure everybody would say this, I'd probably visit it too many times. So I'm kind of glad they don't have it in my area. area. As far as fast food, even though it's set up with a counter and it gives you the feeling of fast food, it almost doesn't feel like fast food from the fact that they're cutting fries fresh and the quality of the food. And then you topple on top of that the price of the food, which is like even cheaper than conventional fast food. And it's almost like a surreal experience, like it shouldn't exist. So maybe having it out in a little bit less of an accessible place is just right for me because it makes the visits feel more special. Now, as far as their policies of no recording inside, the young man who approached me was very nice. In fact, when I offered to put my gear back in the car, he said that wouldn't be necessary, just not to keep filming. And he did clarify that it's actually a company-wide policy. I can't fault him for doing his job. And I will say, in terms of the manner in which he approached it, there were a lot of different ways that he could have approached it that would have been a lot more abrasive. But in this case here, he was a total professional. And even though it's begrudging to not have that footage of me eating and making a mess, they were super nice about it. And this was an absolutely stellar experience, despite the fact that I sensationalized the title a little bit. The one thing that's cool about InNOut Burger is that they've stuck to their guns and they haven't thrown their hat into the chicken sandwich wars. But I did an entire series of videos about chicken sandwiches at fast food places, and you can catch up on those right here.